welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be doing a video focusing on moving to LA. My advice on what I think an appropriate starting budget would be, how to make new friends, basically just kind of giving you guys my viewpoint on moving to LA and also perspectives of my friends who had a higher or lower budget. But I had you guys ask me some questions just to kind of start it off, and then wherever it kind of leads, we'll go from there. And I'm really excited and I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you find it helpful. There's been so many requests for me to do this recently, so I felt that it would only be appropriate and make sense for me to film this for you guys. So let's jump in. Okay, so as you guys can see, there are a lot of questions from you guys. Obviously, the most asked question is what is the average living expense and the budget that you would need for an apartment. In LA, there are tons of different options, and it really depends on how much you feel that you can afford in order to live in LA. But what I will say is that very likely you're gonna need a minimum of $1,000, and that's not necessarily guaranteeing that you're gonna get your own place. I have a lot of friends who are spending $1,000 to $1,500 to share a space with somebody. They do have their own room, they're just renting a room and kind of like a house with 4 rooms or something, and they all share common spaces. That's really common, and I honestly don't think that's a bad idea when you're moving to LA. You just want to make sure that when you do that, you either do that with friends, friends of friends, or if it's gonna be a stranger, you really need to be very thorough in your investigation, I guess we can call it, just to make sure that you're getting into a home where you're gonna be safe. You don't wanna move in with somebody random just because the price looks right. You really wanna make sure, I mean, this is somebody that you're gonna be sharing a home with, and at nighttime, it's gonna be just y'all in this house. Make sure that you feel 100% comfortable and that you've really done a thorough background check to make sure that this person will be somebody that you would feel safe with leaving your belongings, leaving yourself, whatever the case may be. For the average person moving to LA, you're looking at $1,000 minimum to rent a room. Now, away from the shared home experiences, you can also very likely rent a studio for minimum $1,500, $1,600. Now, with that said, it's not gonna be the nicest studio. It's probably gonna be a bit run down, and you might not have the best property manager. A lot of these areas in LA are getting gentrified right now, so they're coming up, they're getting a little safer, but there are still a lot of seedy things happening in the area, a lot of crime, break-ins, things like that. So if you really were wanting to get your own place, minimum $1,500 for a studio, and again, not even guaranteed that you're gonna have parking. You might have to do street parking, or again, it might just be in a very sketchy location, which you might not be comfortable with. There are a ton of really, really great apps that you can use to kind of get an idea of the locations that you'd wanna live in Los Angeles, and adjust the pricing, the square footage, the amount of bedrooms, bathrooms, whatever that you'd like. I've used Zillow, I've used Trulia, I think it's called Trulia. There's Hot Pads. There's so many different apps in the App Store that you can use to kind of investigate and see which one works best for you. But even just doing a really basic search. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're focusing on the Valley because I think you'll get a way better price out here. I'm gonna put in Burbank, California. Okay, so I set the budget as $850 to $1,800 a month. We'll actually put this down to $1,500. So there's 7 results. That alone made a huge difference. And this is for any type of space, but guaranteed this isn't gonna be shared. So it's looking like just in Burbank, the minimum rent is gonna be $1,300, and it's gonna be a studio. There's not a lot of pictures, which is already kind of sus. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Here's another place, 400 square feet. It's cute. Oh, actually, this is so cute, but it's 400 square feet. That's something you have to decide. Do you want to live in a space that small? Because honestly, that's about the size of a bedroom, and that's where everything is going to be. This is really gonna come down to you, your budget, and what you're willing or can afford to spend. And that's kind of the most annoying thing about Los Angeles, but very likely you're gonna be able to get a decent place. It's just gonna be on the older side, really no renovations, and you are more likely to have problems with damage to the building, termites, pests, types of things. But again, that's not every situation. That's just what I've had friends tell me have happened in their experience with that type of a budget. Now, to answer your question in terms of average cost of living in Los Angeles, honestly, in order to live in a nice place where you feel safe, you feel comfortable, you need a fob in order to access the building, and you're gonna have a really cute studio or 1 bedroom, possibly even a 2 bedroom, depending on the location, whether it's central LA, West Hollywood, Larchmont, any of those areas, even downtown. You're gonna be looking at an average of a minimum of $2,200 to $3,500. Obviously, if you have more money, then sure, spend more. Maybe $2,000 in the Valley, but more like $25,000 to $3,000 or $3,500, again, depending on your budget. That's just what I feel is the average price to live in a nice, cute, safe facility building in Los Angeles. Another really good question, what are the top 5 things to think about when moving to LA? I'm gonna have to think of these on my own really quick, so let me write these down. First thing, be prepared for lots and lots of parking tickets if you do not pay attention to all of the signs in the streets of Los Angeles. There are plenty of them. They're gonna be on the streets, they're gonna be in the parking lots, they're gonna be next to the parking meters, they're gonna be in neighborhoods. There are parking signs everywhere, and there will be different rules for different times. Between 8 and 4, maybe it's 1 hour parking, but between 6 and 10, it's 30-minute parking. There are so many signs, and I can't tell you how many times I've fallen victim. Actually, I haven't gotten that many parking tickets. I think since I've lived in LA, maybe I've gotten 10. There are people who are in their dozens by now. So definitely read all of them, because if you don't, you are gonna be spending $60 to $100 per parking ticket if you are not paying attention. It's just not worth it. Number 2, networking is everywhere, along with celebrity sightings. So LA is one of those places where anybody you meet probably has a very interesting story and is somebody that you will either want to create a friendship with or want to create some sort of business relationship with. I've met so many amazing people over the years in Los Angeles that do so many different things. People that own their own social media companies, people that are talent agents, people that own their own restaurants, or people that own their own boutiques. There are just so many people in Los Angeles that are absolutely killing it, and you will very likely want to be friends with this person or want to pick their brain or literally create some sort of business relationship where maybe you guys collaborate in the future. You can learn something from everybody out here, and if you meet somebody who piques your interest, just hand them your card or give them your phone number or your email and let them know that you want to see them again. It's so common out here, and no one is going to be baffled by you suddenly showing some sort of actual personal interest in them. In fact, they're probably going to be very flattered. And to kind of, bumper off of that, celebrity sightings are very common out here. I don't know celebrities as well as I think I do, because ever since Riley moved in with me, this guy recognizes somebody almost every day. He ran into Camila Cabello at Blue Bottle Coffee right across the street from the salon he works at. He's seen, oh gosh, what's that comedian's name? You guys know who I'm talking, Silverstein? What is her name? You guys know the comedian that I'm talking about. We saw her when we were at a cafe and I would never recognized her. He just sees people all the freaking time. Oh, I saw Chandler from Friends walking down a road in Beverly Hills. It's so common, they're everywhere. So it's super common out here, and the best thing that you can do is just play it cool. If you wanna approach them, that's on you. We tend to just let them live their life because they're clearly out trying to either get food, go shopping, or whatever it is. And so usually you just want to kind of respect that you saw them and then carry on with your life. If they seem cool and approachable, then great, approach them. Number 3, and I hope I don't regret saying this, Burbank is going to be your best kept secret in terms of airports. They have, I think, 5 airlines. They have United, Southwest, Alaska. I'm totally drawing a blank on what the other 2 are, but it's between 4 to 5 different airlines that they have, and it is absolutely amazing. If you are flying in, if you have friends flying in, if you have family flying in, or if you're flying out, check Burbank first and compare the prices to LAX, because it is way less of a nightmare than LAX is. LAX is one of those airports that you could leave at, 7 o'clock in the morning and not get there until 10 a.m. It is an absolute nightmare getting there from basically anywhere. It's a nightmare getting into the actual airport, like those lanes where you start to go through. That could take an hour by itself, and then forget about it when it comes to security lines. Burbank is the polar opposite. I've gotten there 45 minutes before a flight and been on the flight 20 minutes later, like in my seat. It's not like that every time, and especially during the holidays, if you're checking luggage, get there way earlier because those lines go crazy. I just brought a carry-on when I flew home for Christmas, and I got on the plane super fast, whereas other people had been there for an hour or 2 because it's a smaller airport and they wanted to check luggage. Number 4, you might think because your friend lives 5 miles away, oh, that's nothing, because back in small town, that's a 10-minute drive. No. In LA, if your friend lives 5 miles away, it depends within where that 5 miles is. If it's 5 miles from Van Nuys to Sherman Oaks, or from basically anywhere in the valley, then you might be okay. But if it's a matter of you living in Santa Monica and your friend lives in West Hollywood, it might say it's a 5-6 mile radius distance, yeah, it's gonna take 45 minutes to get there. So be very careful how long your mile radius is for friendship, for dating, for work, whatever it is. Keep all of those things in mind because you may need to have a commute to work that's 5 miles away, but just be prepared that it's not gonna be a nice quick little drive. It's gonna be minimum a half hour, maximum an hour and a half. It's a nightmare. There are times where I've driven from Beverly Hills to Hollywood and it's taken me 50 minutes to get 4 miles. It's insane. There are so many people out here and obviously LA is becoming very impacted. Be prepared for that and, you know, just don't say I didn't warn you. It's just the way it is. Number 5. This is probably one of the most important ones. A lot of people that want to move to LA want to move here to be closer to a beach. You've either lived in one of the states in the middle of America where they have absolutely no beaches and you just have a river maybe that you float down, but you finally want to experience some waves and the sand and, you know, a pier and all of that. If you want to experience that, you're gonna have to move to a beach city. Moving to North Hollywood, moving to West Hollywood, it will take you a half hour to an hour to go to the beach. It will be a day trip. It won't be like, I'm just gonna pop by the beach for a little while. That's just not a thing. I think I've gone to the beach 3 times in the last 3 years that I've lived out here. You're gonna wanna move to Marina del Rey, Playa del Rey, Santa Monica, or Venice. Those are like your top 4 places where you're still gonna be in Los Angeles, but it's gonna be more expensive there, hands down. If you really wanna be by the beach, LA might not even be the place for you. If you're like a true beach person, you might wanna go to Carlsbad in San Diego or Orange County, something like that. So those would be my top 5 things that I feel that you guys should know because those are things that I feel people come here not aware of and then they're like, oh no, is this what my life is gonna be like? Somebody said, I'm from Toronto with 0 connection to LA. How am I going to be able to have a social life? This is also a very common question and I'm gonna be perfectly transparent here. I hated LA for the first year and a half that I lived here. I had absolutely no friends. I didn't have my pets yet. I came here with no family, no friends, no nothing. Just knowing that I had a dream to live out here and wanting to make it happen. And that was incredibly intimidating and I did the worst thing possible, which was not leave my house. I was dating Omar at the time and he had a lot of connections to Barbell, so he's the one that started getting me to go to Barbell Brigade, and there I met Bart and Gio and a bunch of other amazing staff at Barbell, including Nadeem. But I also didn't really work so hard to hang out with people, so I just kind of was like, oh, they seem like they like me, but they don't want a new friend. I don't want to make them feel awkward or uncomfortable, so I would just retreat back home and leave it alone. The biggest thing I would say was, for me, I started taking acting classes. I found things that I had hobbies in, and so for me, that was really just acting in the gym at the time. As soon as I got into acting classes, I made like 5 friends right off the bat that I was hanging out with on a regular basis, and then they introduced me to amazing people. I started developing friendships with people that I had watched on YouTube, David being one of them. He has now helped me create my entire circle of friends. The biggest thing is you just have to get out of your comfort zone. Take some classes somewhere. Sign up for gym classes. Find another thing that you're also really into. For me, like I said, it was acting. For you, it might be painting, going to stand-up comedy shows, going to, oh God, there's just so many things to do out here. There's so many things where you are bound to make friends. You just have to be prepared to tell people, hey, I just moved out here. Do you want to hang out? Do you want to grab a drink? Do you want to go grab a bite to eat? The biggest thing is putting yourself out there, getting into a really tight-knit, close community, and developing friendships from there. How much money should I bring to survive while I look for work? Another really good question. And again, this is entirely going to depend on you. It depends on what you're used to making in terms of a salary. It also depends on how much you personally feel that you can set aside, how much you're expecting to spend on rent. So let's just say, let's crunch some quick numbers here. So I'm bringing Riley in really quick because I feel that he has a very good idea of what it's like to live in LA on a budget. I was asking him what his salary is like and what he felt would be a sustainable amount to be able to afford $1,000 for rent plus other expenses.
$2,500.
Okay, so then if you were gonna move out here and you didn't have a job yet,
how much would I have to have saved up? When I wanted to move to Seattle, and the reason I didn't do it yet because it was like I knew I needed to have a good amount of like a chunk saving because like I was guaranteeing like maybe like the possibility of not being employed for 3 months.
Yeah, that's my thing. So when I moved to LA, I think I came with like $8,000.
Yeah, I feel like,
and I was already employed, but I just wanted to be super safe that if anything went wrong with YouTube, that I would have money to at least cover a few months of rent.
Exactly. So I think you should at least have 2 months of rent covered, not counting your first month, and then also like a budget for like food.
Let's say your rent is $1,500 a month. You want to have $3,000 saved plus another $1,000 for food, pharmacy, emergencies, things like that. So now you're at $4,000. If you can get another $2,000 to $3,000, I think you're in a good position, because that's going to be there in case you don't get a job and you need that extra month. Yeah. So we agree that you should have a minimum of $6,000 saved up.
Exactly, and that's just for worst case scenario.
Yeah. The thing is, you could easily move here without that $6,000, but if you're not going to do that, then minimum of 3. Minimum have 2 months of rent covered. So if you want to do high risk, $3,000. If you want to do medium risk, $4,000 or $5,000, and if you want to be low risk and super safe, $6,000 to $7,000 saved up. Do you agree? Thank you. I appreciate your input. It out.
Oh.
No, wait. I love you.
Okay, that's enough.
Go. What part of LA do you recommend to move for your first time? Again, this is entirely going to depend on your budget and what you want to be around. If you want to be in the beach, Marina del Rey, Playa del Rey, Santa Monica, Venice. If you want to be where it's happening, Hollywood, West Hollywood, downtown maybe. Downtown, when you're in downtown, you're kind of secluded in downtown because there's traffic all around you because you are the hub of Los Angeles, so you never really want to leave downtown, but there's a lot to do out there, but you're going to want to have friends in the area. But I would say West Hollywood and Hollywood are where the majority of my friends live and absolutely love it. Second would be up in the valley, which is where I now am. So places like Van Nuys, Sherman Oaks, North Hollywood, Burbank, Valley Village. More people are moving out here because prices are going up and up in West Hollywood and Hollywood, so it's making more sense to be in the valley because there's so many new developments, there's so many new homes, plus a lot of old homes that are vacant and cheap, and you can get a just as nice apartment that would cost you $4,000 to $5,000 in Hollywood, and you can get that same thing for $2,800 or $3,000 in the valley. Again, entirely going to depend on what your wants are, but I recommend the valley. Okay, a lot of people are asking about the traffic. What's the secret to avoiding it? Is it better to live on the outskirts or in downtown, or what's the best thing to do? There is no secret to avoiding traffic in LA. Especially if you work a 9 to 5, you are just gonna have to fully accept that you will be sitting in traffic for a minimum of 45 minutes a day, depending on how far you are from your job. If you're doing a commute, yeah, 45 minutes to an hour and a half, maybe even 2. Just be fully prepared for that and accept that. Unless it's local, then great, you're in a great position. There's no real secret. Obviously, download Google Maps and download Waze. Waze is awesome because you can go on there, and I'm sure you guys already know this, but you can put in your current location or wherever it is you're gonna be driving from and the place you're going to, and then you can hit schedule time, and it'll show you what, actually, let me just screen record it for you guys. So let's say you're gonna go to the Staples Center. We're gonna adjust the location to, say you live at Sunset and Vine. So you can see that's gonna take 23, again, today's the weekend, so it's not as bad right now. Let's adjust it. Let's adjust it to Tuesday. So in the morning, you can see it's increasing. It caps off at about 27 minutes at 9:30 in the morning. Then in the evening, so then it's pretty average throughout the day, and then it's gonna go up and up and up, and by 6:30 it will take you 50 minutes to get there, include another 10 minutes just because accidents happen and it suddenly becomes an hour trip. That's how it is, baby. Get used to it. But that's a really great thing about Waze, is you always know what the traffic is gonna be like, and this isn't always accurate. It changes. Sometimes it's a little less, sometimes it's a little more, but this will at least give you an idea of how much time you're gonna wanna prepare for. Google Maps is obviously also really great. You can't do the same thing, but Waze and Google Maps will always take you through back roads as opposed to the highway if it's gonna be faster. Okay, another thing that a lot of people are asking is how to find a job quickly, or like if you're having bad job luck, what do you do? The amazing thing about Los Angeles is that all of the apps, all of your favorite apps like Postmates, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Uber, Lyft, Caviar, Wag, where you walk animals, Rover, another dog sitting or dog walking app. There are so many ways that you can start making money the second you move out here. And there are people out here that are doing these apps full-time as their job. If you're not finding a job at an actual location, a physical location where you go and you clock in, you can 1000% get a job driving for Uber, driving for Postmates, driving for whatever it is, and do that full time. It's LA. There are people that are constantly ordering, constantly needing a ride somewhere. It doesn't stop. I've talked to a lot of Uber drivers that do this full time, and they're making like $3,000 a month. Is Uber technically more high risk because people are going into your car that you don't know? Yeah, 1000%. The thing is, if it really gets to a place where you're like, oh my God, I'm not making any money, you don't have to do anything weird or sketchy or under the table. You can get on one of these apps and start making money so fast. I know so many people that do it, and it works great for them. You have no excuse, is my point. You will find a way to make money if you need to make money. It's possible, always. All right, guys, I think that is going to conclude this advice on moving to LA. I really hope you guys found this helpful. I wish that I had a video like this to watch when I originally was moving to LA, because I think there's a lot of useful information here, a lot of little hacks and secrets and tips that will help you guys really get the most out of moving here when you do it. If you guys enjoyed it and you want to see more content, make sure to throw the video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have any other questions that maybe I didn't answer, feel free to comment them below. I will do my best to answer as many of them as I see. I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. I love you guys so much. Besitos. Bye. Oh wait. Besitos. Bye.